Hey, peace and blessings to you, family. I hope you're doing well. This is your brother Zion. I will not be before you long. I just want to drop in on you today, and I was thinking about something earlier that we can all attest to. We've all been through. Have you ever heard a song on the radio and you couldn't stand that song? I mean, that song was just so horrible. It lacked lyrical content, uh, lyrical maturity, and the music was just god awful. You hated it, and the more you begin to hear that song on the radio, day after day, night after night, the radio station playing it in heavy rotation, you begin to bob your head to this song that you hate, that's so horrible, and then you begin to even meditate on the lyrics. And from meditating on the lyrics, you begin to even memorize the lyrics. And from memorizing the lyrics, you begin to either rap the lyrics or sing along, singing the lyrics verbatim from beginning to end of this horrible song that you hate. You know, oftentimes in our lives, real talk, and this is how we're going to keep it on Shame Free Life channel and network, that we have this critical voice on the inside, okay? And this critical voice is directly connected to our past failures, uh, just dropping the ball, all types of defeats, falling down and getting up and falling down and getting back up and falling down. It may be addictions, whatever the case may be. This particular voice, this criticism, this critical voice begins to blast in heavy rotation the reality of our past. You may begin to see people, that have wronged you, as far as visualizing these people, the episodes and the scenes and the events that have occurred in your life that were just so traumatic, that was just so painful, just full of a lot of loss and grief. Well, it's this voice's job to constantly remind us of our past over and over again in heavy rotation. And as we begin to listen to this critical voice, you're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not handsome enough, or you don't have enough credentials behind your name. You dropped out of school. Look at you now. Look at you right now in this particular stage in your life, at this age in your life, and you haven't accomplished nothing, or you've only accomplished half of what you sought out to accomplish. Look at you. Just look at your life. It's just totally screwed up. You ain't going nowhere. Just look at their lives. Look at her life. Look at his life. And look at how they shine. And look at all the things that they've accomplished in life. Look at where they live, and look at what they drive, and look at how happy they are in their marriage. Like, what's going on behind closed doors in their marriage. And this critical voice will begin to tell us over and over again our shortcomings and how traumatic our former life was, and how we haven't accomplished anything, and how we haven't amounted to anything. And we begin to meditate on it, those lyrics, which are real. And we begin to now sing along, say along, speak along with this horrible voice, with this horrible song that we hate. And it's amazing that the very things that we hate and we say that we hate, if we're not careful, we begin to listen, then we begin to believe it, and then we begin to become it. It's amazing how many people will just walk by people on the street that are homeless or drug addicts. How in the world did he get here? I mean, won't he clean his life up? I never knew that she was on a stroll like that. She's selling her body for dope. But we don't know what they had to overcome, or what they didn't overcome, rather. We don't know the demons that they came subject to, that they had to fight off and lost. We don't know what they had to endure in their lives. They probably didn't have a healthy support system. They probably didn't have anybody in their life to cheer them along and also be an accountability partner. That listen, I refuse for you to go out like that because I see too much in you. And my job in your life right now is to make sure that you make it from point A to point B and not going back. Now, it's your life. You can make whatever decisions that you make, but on my watch, as being your accountability partner, I'm going to make sure, partner, that you do make it. And that's what I love about the life of Yeshua, is that he sent out the disciples 2 by 2 to be just that, to have one another's back. They were, in essence, accountability partners. That's why he sent them out 2 by 2. He didn't send them out solo. He said, because I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. And even though that I've given you the power that I have to overcome the enemy, yet and still, you need somebody watching your back, because 2 are better than 1. That when one falls, you have another one to lift that person out of the ditch of despair, out of the ditch of depression, out of the ditch of self-destruction. And so he sent them out 2 by 2, accountability partners. So I'll say all that to say this, and I'm not going to be before you long. How many songs of our past have we listened to, and have we start believing that you're an underachiever? Start believing that your life is completely over. Start believing that other people's opinion of you means has more credence in your life, and is more important than the Most High's opinion of you. People come and they go. I've come to realize that the same person that pats you on your back can be the same person that will stab you in your back. And I treat boos and hisses just like I do praises and accolades. They all the same. And when we have that kind of mindset, we won't be disappointed, because people will disappoint you, because people are fragile and they blow just like the wind in every direction. So our confidence is in the Most High God, Yah himself. So how many tunes, how many songs have we begun to listen to, and that we begin to believe about ourselves and ultimately become? So that's how a lot of people throw in the towels on themselves. I know I was one. I threw in a towel on myself over and over again, because I began to listen to this critical voice from the time that I was a child, a young adult, and then a man. I began to listen to this critical voice of shame, of rejection, of abandonment, of low self-esteem, of injustice. And I began to listen to it in heavy rotation over and over and over again. And then I began to believe it. Because whatever that you do for 30 days, well, I believe it's 21 days, but certainly for 30 days consistently, now you have formed a habit. It becomes a part of your DNA structure. It becomes a part of your molecular structure. And so I begin to listen to it, and I begin to believe it, and then believing it, I just threw in a towel on myself. I just became it. Fulfilling a self-fulfillment prophecy, a self-fulfilling prophecy of not making it, of becoming less than what the Most High had purposed for me to become. But making a decision and turning a page, and this is how we do it. When we have this voice, and this voice will come periodically. This voice will come and tell you what you're not doing, tell you how horrible you are, tell you what you haven't accomplished, begin to tell you all of these realities of what has happened to you. Turn it off. It's almost like you ride down the freeway of your own destiny, and this song is playing on the radio. This song that you hate, of what happened, you hate. Turn it off. No one's going to get in that car and turn that radio station, or turn the radio off completely. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do it for me. We got to do it for ourselves. And it's amazing to me that we oftentimes we pray to the Lord. We pray to the Most High. Lord, I need you to do this. Father, would you please do this for me and do that? And he will, because he is a reward of those who diligently seek him. But at the same time, there's some things that we are to do. The Most High was not going to come down and build the ark for Noah. He said, no, Noah, I'm giving you the blueprint. Now work it out. Here are the tools. Here's the blueprint. Here's the material. Now you do it. And so this is how we come into partnership. You know, even if you look at a symphony, right? You have the trombones, you have the clarinets, the flutes, you have the drums, you have the bass drum, you have the saxophone, the alto sax, the soprano sax, the tenor sax. You have all of these instruments, but then you have the conductor. And the conductor's job is to make sure that he gives everyone who stays in their own instrumental lane direction, navigation. And that is the Lord's job. Yes, he supplies for us, because his word says that's what he does. That no good thing will he withhold from them who walketh uprightly. He said that in his word. I can do all things through Yeshua HaMashiach who strengthens me. David said, I have been young, now I'm old, yet have I never seen the righteous forsaken, nor a seed begging for bread. He does supply. That's what he does. But what are we not doing in and of ourselves to come into concert? So when you take the clarinet, and now the clarinet now wants to jump on the bass drum. No, that's not your job. You remain on the clarinet. You master that. Now you have the trombone player. Now he wants to jump on the trumpet and play the trumpet. No, we need you on the trombone. We need you to master the trombone. And all of the instruments have a different harmonic flow. They have a different pitch and tone. They have a different melodic rhythm. And all of them are necessary when they're occupying their own lane, the players that is, to produce in playing in tune a harmonic flow that sounds so beautiful. Because when they're off tune, when they're too sharp and when they're too flat, it's so irritating. There's nothing beautiful about that. You're just making a lot of noise. And this critical voice on the inside is making a whole lot of noise. And it's time to shut it off and shut it down. So how do we do that? When this critical voice begins to tell you what you're not, who you're not, or give you a false identity of who you are, you have the power and the authority to change the station. I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to change this station. I'm going to go back to what the word says that I am. I'm going to now pull out of me a belief system now that will operate in a harmonious flow with the word of the Most High Yah. That I can do all things. So I have a responsibility. He has a responsibility, but I have a responsibility too. So Lord, let's go ahead and make this thing work. Let's get this thing popping, because I'm going to put my faith with your works, with your power. And it wasn't until David got a slingshot and a stone and hurled it and bust the head of Goliath wide open. It was the Lord that took the velocity. He added his supernatural velocity behind the rock to bust the head of Goliath. But Goliath would have never fallen if David hadn't been in position. And David being in position means I'm going to grab what the Lord has given me. It doesn't look like much to go against this problem. It doesn't look like much to go against this adversity. It doesn't look like much to go against this past that's haunting me, that's taunting me. But I'm going to take what the Lord has given me. I'm going to take this slingshot and this rock and have enough faith as I move into position and get into position and face off with this giant and hurl it and believe that it will have enough force, not in my own might, not by might and not by my own human power, but by the Spirit, by the Ruah of Yah, to bust this thing wide open. So I encourage you as I encourage myself. The pen is in your hand, right? You and I are the author of our own life history, regardless of what has happened to you. Okay, yes, it happened. Oh, it is happening. That's real. That's reality. And that critical voice reminds us of that in heavy rotation every single day. But since you and I are the author of our own life's story, our own book of life, you should have the unmitigated gall, and you should have the authority and the power to pen it however you will. Your story ends when your pen begins. There's enough ink in your pen to continue writing. So turn the page. You're stuck in that old chapter. Turn the page. You're stuck on that old page, that old scene, and turn the page and begin to write a new chapter concerning how your life will go and how your life will end this point on. That's how we get in concert with the Most High. He will do his part. We must do our part in faith, but also in practice, because faith alone is not good enough. Faith without works is dead. I'll talk to you next time. I'll let you know when I go live again. This is my first time doing it, so y'all got to work with a brother. And if you love what we're doing, follow the Shame-Free Life movement. We are working out together everything that is in us from our youth on up to our adulthood that is an obstruction to our growth, that keeps us in a place of shame. Shame paralyzes you. And that critical voice that's in your mind, that's in my mind, it feeds off of shame. So join the Shame-Free Life movement, being free of shame or free from shame. That's www.theshamefreelife.com. Peace and love. Peace and blessings. Love you to life. And remember, the pen is in your hand. Nobody has the power to write your story like you can. So go ahead and make it happen, Arthur. Peace and blessings.